The first thing anyone noticed was not the sound of the shattered glass or the frantic footsteps racing across the polished marble floor. It was the look on Celeste Rowan's face as she stood frozen in the middle of the grand entrance of her family's headquarters, watching decades of hard work crumble in a single morning. Reporters had already gathered outside after rumors spread that the Rowan Corporation was about to lose its largest investor, and with Christmas only days away, the headlines promised to be merciless. Yet the deepest wound had nothing to do with money. The man she had trusted with both her heart and her future had disappeared before the annual Christmas charity gala, leaving behind a brief letter and enough unanswered questions to destroy the confidence of shareholders who believed stability began with leadership. Every camera waited for her next move, but none of them noticed the quiet single father carrying a box of decorations through the lobby, because sometimes the person who changes everything arrives without anyone looking. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change a person's life, please take a moment to like this story, leave a thoughtful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel. Every act of support helps our family and our community continue sharing stories that remind people light can still be found in difficult times. Celeste had spent her entire adult life proving she deserved the position she inherited only after years of relentless effort rather than family privilege. Her grandfather had built Rowan Corporation from a tiny engineering workshop into one of the country's most respected infrastructure companies, and every generation added another chapter of sacrifice. Her father taught her that reputations require decades to build and only a single careless decision to destroy. After losing both parents within a few years of each other, she buried herself in work until every conference room, blueprint, and financial report felt more familiar than her own home. The annual Christmas charity celebration had become more than a festive tradition. It symbolized confidence, generosity, and stability for employees whose families depended on the company. This year, however, whispers spread faster than facts. Investors questioned her leadership after learning her fiancé had vanished just before the event, convincing many that personal chaos reflected professional weakness. Only one employee seemed completely untouched by the gossip. His name was Graham Mercer, a maintenance supervisor whose calm presence often disappeared into the background of busy hallways. Few executives knew much about him beyond his remarkable work ethic and his habit of bringing his young daughter, Hazel, to the office daycare whenever school holidays began. Graham had once dreamed of becoming an architect before life changed without warning. His wife passed away after a sudden illness several years earlier, leaving him to raise Hazel alone. Rather than surrender to bitterness, he accepted whatever honest work allowed him to provide a stable life for his daughter. Every morning he reminded Hazel that dignity came from character rather than job titles. She believed him because she watched him treat every stranger with quiet respect. As panic spread through the executive offices, Celeste's longtime assistant offered an unusual solution. Investors expected to meet her fiancé during the charity gathering and holiday announcements. Canceling every appearance would fuel rumors that the company was collapsing. Someone suggested finding a respectable temporary companion simply to calm public speculation until the holidays ended. The proposal sounded ridiculous, yet the board insisted appearances mattered. Celeste hated every second of the discussion because pretending happiness felt dishonest, but she also understood thousands of employees depended on investor confidence. While searching for someone trustworthy outside the spotlight, fate quietly arranged a different answer. That afternoon Hazel wandered into the lobby carrying handmade Christmas ornaments she had created for employees. She offered one to Celeste without recognizing who she was. The ornament was simple, decorated with tiny painted snowflakes and a handwritten message that read, "Hope grows when someone believes in you." Celeste thanked the little girl, who proudly explained her father always said Christmas was less about gifts than about reminding lonely people they were never forgotten. Graham quickly apologized for the interruption, embarrassed that Hazel had wandered away, but Celeste smiled for the first time in days. She noticed the warmth between father and daughter and found herself unexpectedly comforted by their quiet sincerity. When circumstances forced another emergency board meeting, one director recognized Graham from a previous community charity event where he had represented the company with remarkable grace. Half joking and half desperate, someone asked whether he would consider attending the public Christmas luncheon as Celeste's pretend fiancé. Graham nearly refused immediately because deception conflicted with everything he believed. Yet after learning the arrangement could protect thousands of jobs during a critical investor meeting, he reluctantly agreed under one condition. The truth would never be twisted into something that harmed innocent people, and the arrangement would end as soon as the crisis passed. News photographers captured smiling images during the daytime charity luncheon, and within hours financial commentators began reporting that Rowan Corporation appeared stable despite recent rumors. Graham never pretended to be wealthy or important. Instead, he treated every employee, volunteer, and guest exactly as he treated neighbors back home. Investors expecting polished speeches instead witnessed genuine kindness. They saw him helping elderly guests find comfortable seats, carrying boxes for volunteers, and encouraging children participating in the company's annual toy drive. His authenticity quietly restored confidence more effectively than any carefully rehearsed public relations campaign, yet behind the celebration another danger had already taken root. Graham noticed unusual maintenance requests involving secure archive rooms where confidential engineering contracts were stored. Equipment inspections revealed evidence that someone had deliberately disabled surveillance cameras during business hours. Years earlier, while studying architecture, Graham had learned enough about building systems to recognize patterns others overlooked. Rather than ignoring his suspicions, he carefully documented every inconsistency and privately informed the company's security director. Unfortunately, the warning was dismissed as an overactive imagination because executives remained distracted by financial concerns. Hazel unknowingly uncovered another piece of the puzzle while drawing pictures near a conference room. She noticed two senior executives arguing about transferring company files before Christmas. Their conversation ended abruptly when they realized someone might have overheard them. Hazel innocently mentioned the strange discussion to her father later that afternoon. Graham's concern deepened immediately. The disappearing surveillance footage, suspicious maintenance orders, and hurried document transfers suddenly formed a frightening picture. Someone inside Rowan Corporation intended to steal decades of proprietary research before investors realized what had happened. The annual daytime Christmas charity exhibition filled every hallway with employees, families, volunteers, and local community leaders. Music drifted through the building while children decorated evergreen trees and donated winter clothing for struggling families. Hidden among the celebration, Graham quietly followed the trail of suspicious maintenance records until he reached a restricted storage level. There he discovered evidence that confidential servers had been prepared for illegal data extraction. Instead of confronting anyone recklessly, he contacted security once more while simultaneously locating Celeste. For the first time since the crisis began, she looked beyond the temporary arrangement that had brought Graham into her life and recognized extraordinary courage beneath his humble appearance. The conspiracy unraveled with astonishing speed. Several trusted executives had secretly planned to sabotage investor confidence, purchase company shares at dramatically reduced prices, and sell valuable engineering patents to competitors. The abandoned engagement had merely accelerated their timetable after they realized public embarrassment could distract everyone from the theft. Graham's careful observations provided investigators exactly enough evidence to stop the transfer before irreversible damage occurred. By the time authorities secured the archives, Rowan Corporation's future had been saved. When reporters praised Graham as the unexpected hero, he quietly slipped away before the afternoon celebrations concluded. He never waited for awards or public recognition because Hazel had grown tired after the excitement, and promises made to children mattered more than newspaper headlines. Celeste searched every hallway before discovering only a handwritten note thanking the employees for their kindness and expressing hope that the company would continue protecting the families who depended upon it. He believed his small role had ended. Standing in the bright winter sunlight outside headquarters, Celeste finally understood why Graham had left before the evening festivities could begin. He never wanted attention. He wanted integrity. While others chased power, he protected people. While others demanded recognition, he quietly returned to the life waiting for him and his daughter. In leaving before midnight celebrations ever arrived, he had unknowingly saved far more than a corporation. He had rescued the values upon which it had been built. Months later, Rowan Corporation introduced new leadership principles emphasizing humility, transparency, and service above status. Graham accepted an opportunity to oversee community development projects, allowing him to use the architectural skills he had once believed were lost forever. Hazel continued delivering handmade ornaments each Christmas, and employees treasured them more than expensive decorations because every one carried a handwritten reminder that hope was strongest when shared. Before this story comes to its close, leave a meaningful comment telling us what touched your heart most. Do you believe one honest act can change the future of an entire family, workplace, or community? Celeste eventually realized the greatest Christmas gift she received was not rescued wealth or restored public confidence. It was the chance to rediscover trust in people whose worth could never be measured by titles or appearances. Graham learned that unimaginable loss did not have to define the rest of his life, and Hazel grew up surrounded by adults who proved compassion was stronger than ambition. Rowan Corporation prospered once again, not because it avoided hardship, but because ordinary people chose integrity when it mattered most. The Christmas season passed, spring arrived with new beginnings, and the company became known not only for successful projects but also for treating every employee like family. The greatest empires are never saved by pride alone. They endure because ordinary hearts refuse to abandon hope, even when the future appears impossible. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Thank you for being part of our family and our community, where stories of courage, forgiveness, and second chances continue to remind us that even the smallest act of kindness can change a life forever. If you'd like, I can also make this story 3,000,4,000 words with even stronger emotional twists, suspense, and a more cinematic ending suitable for a 2,530-minute YouTube narration.